and welcome to Epilepsy Stories. My name is Robert Fiore, the Connecticut Epilepsy Advocate. Today we have a special guest. His name is Mighty Mike Simmel, and welcome to Connecticut Epilepsy Advocate's Epilepsy Stories.
Thank you for having me, Bob.
Please tell us, a lot of people out there know about basketball and the fun side of it with the Harlem Globetrotters, but not many people know about the Harlem Wizards. Would you mind give us a little bit of history of that?
You shouldn't have mentioned the Harlem Globetrotters. No.
Is that like a Yankees and a Mets fan thing?
Well, no, it's a little rivalry we have.
Okay.
The Globetrotters and the Wizards, the Globetrotters have been around for 85 years, and they have their rich history, and it's something that should be really respected and revered. But the Wizards, we consider ourselves a new wave, or just something with a lot of energy and a lot of fun. We've been around for over 50 years. And we've had some great people come through our organization, like Connie Hawkins and Tiny Archibald, and some really great players too. We've had some former NBA players come through our organization, and we are known to be the #1 fundraising and community entertainment basketball team in the world. We're different than the Globetrotters in the sense that the Globetrotters play the same team every night. They play the Washington Generals every night.
Yeah.
And what we do is we'll go into a community or an organization, and we'll play against a different community or organization to help raise funds or do fundraising for that organization. And that's what makes us different from the Globetrotters, and that's why we are the #1 fundraising organization in basketball sense in the world. We do a great job. We put on a great show, and we have a lot of great personalities that really make up our squad. Being from former Globetrotters to guys who have been in Nike commercials, freestyle commercials, to guys who've been on the N1 mixtape tour. We just have some great personalities, and it's just a privilege to be a part of it. And our owner and CEO, Todd Davis, his father started the organization in 1962, and he's just continuing that legacy of bringing in great basketball players, not just great basketball players, great people too. And we pride ourselves on that. We may not have the greatest basketball players in the world, but we do have the greatest people.
Well, you got to have something great. Your basketball players must be great for everything and all you do.
Yeah, we do.
So forgive me for the comparison there. Forgiven?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So we know, I know, and you know, we both have epilepsy along with the other 3 million people here in America. Mm-hmm. What the viewers don't know is that what you've gone through with epilepsy and the various things, how long have you had it? Please tell us.
Well, I started having epilepsy since the age of 2 in the form of drop seizures, tonic seizures, so to speak. Right. And I was in California back then, and my first seizure happened when I was just in the kitchen eating an English muffin, and I just dropped to the floor. And my parents, I was with my mom and my aunt at the time, and I blacked out, and they called 911 because it was the first time it happened and nobody knew what to do.
Of course.
And so the EMT came to the house, and he looked in my eyes. He knew right away it was something neurological. And then we went to the hospital when they rushed me, and they came to my parents and said, "Your son has epilepsy." And they're like, "Well, epilepsy?
Yeah, what's that?"
Yeah, and so between ages of 2 through 6, I would have several drop seizures a day, and this would result in falling, hitting my head on the table, or falling and just walking with my parents and just falling down, and it's resulted in me having to wear a helmet, or if I was eating, I couldn't eat my meals at the table, so we would do things like have picnic nights where my family would put a nice blanket on the floor, and I'd be eating my meals on the floor and doing things like that, and not eating with sharp utensils, and it even resulted in me having slow motor skills and coordination as a result of the medications and the different things that I had to do to combat my epilepsy. And it was very, very tough. And then I outgrew my epilepsy at age, my drop seizures actually, I outgrew my drop seizures at age 7, and my dad had an idea, and he gave me a basketball because he wanted to help my coordination, because I was in special education gym class.
Right.
We had moved to New Jersey when I was about 3. I was in school. I was in special education gym class, and he wanted to help my coordination skills. So I guess it worked,
Oh, yeah.
I would dribble the ball everywhere I went, and I dribbled everywhere, and I even dribbled when I walked my dog. And I slept with the basketball. I loved basketball so much, and it led to great things. And I still, battled some absence seizures and stuff, and I didn't know what they were until, in retrospect, I knew now what I know today, and I realized it was absence seizures. But
Right.
When I was 16, I had a major grand mal seizure at a basketball camp, and that brought them back again. I'm like, oh man, here they are. They're back again.
Enough already.
Enough already, you know. And that's when it prompted me to start taking medications again, getting the blood work, and everybody knows, you know, they're back again. So between 16 and 23, I had 2 to 3 major grand mal seizures and the absence seizures, where I would get the tremors. And in addition to that, you know, between 23 to now that I'm going to be 34 in 2 weeks, I've had about 7 seizures, and I haven't had a seizure between the last 2.5 years.
That's
so
great.
It's great, you know, and medication, taking care of my body, listening to my doctors, listening to my parents, and just eating right and getting enough sleep has really been the major cause to doing the right things.
Oh, we've told people how many times that sleep is so important.
It's so important, because when I was in college, you know, I didn't want to tell anybody about my epilepsy, you know, and I'd always be up studying for tests, or, you know, cramming to get that paper in, and, you know, drinking a lot of soda, and, you know, trying to stay up late, you know, and work for that paper, just as I always did things the last minute, because basketball, I made basketball my first priority, you know, which kids you shouldn't do, but I did. And I crammed late, and you know, it would result in most of the time me having a seizure that next morning, and people finding out about it, and inevitably I would have to tell somebody about it, and I was very ashamed, you know, and it wasn't until I was in my latter days in college and I joined the Wizards when I knew it was my obligation to tell people about it, because you shouldn't feel alone about it, and you shouldn't feel scared about it, and people will like you for who you are, and if they don't like you, that's their problem.
Well, exactly. You got to tell it like it is, and either they accept it or they don't.
Exactly, and that's
that's
what I tell
the way
kids.
It should be.
And that's what I tell kids too. You know, they're afraid they're going to get bullied, or they're going to have people pick on them. I tell kids, you know, if people are going to pick on you, that's their problems, and that's their insecurities coming out to pick on you, and that's what true bullies are. They pick on people because their insecurities are coming out, and you should never feel afraid. You should never feel, you know, that you shouldn't have to tell people about your true insides, and let your insides come out, and just be open with people and be honest, and, you know, people will like you for who you are.
They want to know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of things coming out, you went out, and I believe you had some photos of this. You went out and you had some testing done.
Yeah, this is about, I think, like a year ago. I was at Columbia. I go to see a specialist at Columbia Presbyterian, right. And this was after my last seizure. This is like a year after my last seizure. They wanted just to make sure everything was up to date and everything, and I posted it on Facebook just to show all the people out there that, you know, even Mighty Mike has to go through EEGs, and even Mighty Mike has to battle epilepsy too. And I just posted it and just wanted to show little kids that they have to, even if they have to go through EEGs, so does Mighty Mike. And yeah, there's me in the EEGs with my shaved head and everything.
That's
so
it,
it's a good thing I shaved my head, because those things to get mighty sticky on your head, and I didn't like that very much.
No, I've been there without having any hair shaved, so I definitely could relate.
Yeah.
And what they put in to let it stay in place.
Yeah,
you try to shampoo that out.
Yeah.
It's a hassle.
It used to be worse, though. It used to be worse back when they got the really, really, really sticky stuff. That used to be the really worst stuff. But
oh, no, it was unbelievable, because it would take at least 3 days to wash all that out of your hair.
They did a sleep study on me, and I had to wear this thing. It looked like, I don't know how you describe it, like I would say like I don't know what you call it.
It's usually a series of straps, and then
the straps
attached.
And I don't know what like a headdress. I had a whole headdress with a compartment attached to my waist, and I had to sleep with it on. And then I went back to the hospital because they did a sleep study on me, because the seizure that I had was in my sleep, and you know, they wanted just to do a little study on me and just make sure everything was okay, and everything was fine. It's just I just looked kind of funny for about a day, and people were making fun of me, and it was just family members were making fun of me, not people who were making. My family members were joking around with me, saying I look kind of funny, but it was all good. Everybody was having fun.
Well,
with me,
it's family. They're gonna
family's
get on your case.
They're gonna make fun of me no matter what. So, you know, because I'm the youngest in the house. So they can
join the club with the youngest, so I can relate to that.
Yeah.
They're just going to be a scooch, as they say.
Yes, I am a scooch, so that's what they tell me. So
that's it. So please tell me, everybody by now can see that there's a book over here.
Yep.
So what encouraged you, and I believe it's a friend of yours that put this book together?
Yes. My friend Robert Skeed was a talented and unbelievable writer. He's written about 6 children's books, sports-based children's books. He's worked with people like Josh Hamilton, Don Mattingly, the kicker Jay Feely from the Arizona Cardinals. He's talked with Kurt Warner about doing some children's books, and also about working with Dwight Howard. And he's a very talented children's writer. I met him about 7 years ago when I was performing at a fair in my hometown.
Right.
And he told me he was a writer, and he's a Christian-based author in the sense that he does a lot of stuff for the Christian movement, and he has an organization he runs called Upward Basketball. Okay. And it's a Christian-based basketball organization, and they have devotionals and do some really cool things. And so he asked me, then he talked to me about the organization and stuff, and since then I've done some devotionals for his organization talking about epilepsy and a role, how that overcoming that has, made me a stronger person, and the kids hear that story, and I think it really, kids who don't have epilepsy, it makes them stronger inside because they hear,
well, they're encouraged by hearing from you.
Exactly,
and like,
exactly, and how, God gives us all gifts, and how we use those gifts is how we pay God back. And if adversity, it's God's way of just showing us that, how we deal with it is a measure of, how we deal with adversity is God's way of showing us how strong we could be, and if we deal with it, it's a measure of the person we can become too.
Right.
So I tell kids that type of stuff, and at these devotionals and stuff, and it really works out well. But back to the book, I called him up about 4 years ago, and I said, Rob, I have a great idea. I said, I think that we could basically write a book about my background with epilepsy and make it into a children's story. Oh. He said, that's a great idea, But I don't know if you're not Alex Rodriguez, you're not Jarek Jeter. I don't know if this can get published right away by an author, by a publisher. Yeah. He said, I could write it for you as an author, but I don't know if it can get published by a publisher. So I said, okay, well, let's try it though.
Yeah, write it, give it a shot.
Yeah. So he said, let's go to Barnes & Noble, let's toss some ideas together. I need your story. I need to write your story down. We'll get it all together, and we'll put it together and put it on paper. So we did. And the first publisher we sent it to sent us a letter back saying we love the story, but we need to adapt it some more. So they sent us a letter back. So then we wrote it again, did it again, sent it back to them, sent us another letter. This is great, full details, description, what they wanted. So this is this publisher. And so we did it 2 more times, and finally they bought the idea. This is the first publisher we sent the book to. So we were ecstatic.
I would be too.